You've lost something or someone that you've loved. You're going through heartbreak. You just failed a major exam. You got fired from your job. Maybe your business is failing. You're sad, you're broke, and your health is declining. Whatever the issue is, you feel like your life is falling apart. But what if there is a chance that this could be the beginning of something better? If this is your current situation where you feel overwhelmed and defeated, then this video may be for you. Welcome back to the It Girl Playbook. Today we'll be talking about how we can navigate this chapter of your life and set you up for your biggest comeback. The beautiful thing about hitting rock bottom is that there is only one way to go from here, and that is up. It's in those lowest moments where you truly discover what you're made of and what you're capable of. You have the power to decide how high you'll rise from here. It's not easy, and the journey might take some time, but the choice of whether you want to stay where you are at or make a comeback, that decision is yours. You get to say that my story does not have to end like this. I don't have to stay where I'm at right now and write that next chapter of your life. If you're worried about looking silly in the process of regrouping, trying to figure things out, and making your comeback, I want to share this quote with you that I recently saw from Alex Hormozy, and I love it. He said, "First, you look like an idiot to everyone while trying to figure things out, then everyone else looks like an idiot forever doubting you." Seasons. What I love about this quote can be broken down into two parts. The first, we have seasons in life. When it feels like life is falling apart, although it may not seem like it, we have seasons in life. And it can be incredibly comforting to remind yourself that it's temporary, and it's empowering to remind yourself that you have the power to decide how long this season will last. And the second part is accountability and action are key, which I love because both of those are within your control. The accountability and desire to want to figure it out and move forward from the situation that you're in, and the action that needs to be taken to get you out of the situation that you're in. There's a reason why so many people have these lavish goals, but not everyone achieves them. Be someone who achieves that success in your comeback. And with that said, I want to share a few lessons and highlight some of my favorite real life comeback stories to encourage you in this next chapter of your life, as well as for myself when I need to revisit this episode. Starting off with Song Jia's comeback. If you've made a mistake and you know that you are at fault for being in the position that you are in right now, whether it was intentional or by accident, take accountability. You're not alone. We've all made mistakes. I've made plenty. But owning up to your actions, however big or small, is one of the most powerful ways to take back control of this situation. When you take accountability, you're no longer stuck in the past. Instead, you're able to reflect on the situation, learn from your mistakes, take steps to prevent them from happening again, and then choose to move forward wiser and more aware. Song Jia's comeback is one of my favorites, and it illustrates this perfectly. If you're unfamiliar, Jia is a YouTuber, and after participating in a Korean dating reality show called Singles Inferno, she became even more popular. At what seemed like the peak of her fame, she was caught in a scandal for wearing fake luxury items, and the internet basically canceled her for it. Personally, I don't think she deserved the level of hate for an issue that I don't think was that deep, but what stood out to me was how she handled the situation. She owned up to her dishonesty, made a public apology, and took time off the internet. Now she's thriving, attending events, modeling, working with major brands, and proving that one mistake, it doesn't define your entire story. Those who didn't think the criticism was necessary cannot be more happy to see her thriving, and those who may have criticized her can only respect her growth. Jia's story is proof that while people may judge you at your worst, they will celebrate you at your best if you keep moving forward, but it all starts with taking accountability for the situation that you're in and choosing to grow from it. The next story that I want to highlight is Song Hye-Kyo's comeback. Sometimes things happen outside of your control, and the least expected times behind your back without your consent, and it's not your fault. However, just because it's not your fault, it is still your responsibility to move forward and create the best life for yourself because you deserve to have a good life. Song Hye-Kyo's comeback is a perfect example of this, and her story is truly so inspiring. For those who may be unfamiliar, Song Hye-Kyo. She is a very popular Korean actress who got married to another popular Korean actor. Not long after the marriage, they got divorced, and given both their celebrity status, it was very public, and it seemed like the entire public turned against her literally overnight since her ex-husband filed for divorce, and so naturally people assumed that she was at fault. But it turned out that he took advantage of her being out of the country and filed the divorce behind her back, and she had to learn about her own divorce when it was announced on the news. I cannot even imagine the shock, the confusion, and the betrayal that she must have felt. But after taking some time off, she came back with The Glory, which was incredibly popular, and is now working on a new drama that is still ongoing, but apparently pre-sales are already getting sold out. Her story is a reminder that while some things are beyond our control, our response to them is always within our power. And what I admire most about her story is her ability to reclaim her narrative. And that is a lesson that I think many of us sometimes need to remind ourselves of as well. The next comeback that I want to highlight is Addison Rae's. Sometimes these setbacks redirect us to discover who we are more authentically and discover more opportunities that are better and more aligned with who we are meant to be. We've studied Addison Rae's comeback before in a previous episode, but I think her story is a perfect example of this. What seemed like at the peak of her popularity, where she had her own brand, her massive TikTok audience, she was in movies, interviews, at events, hanging out with the Kardashians, and was simultaneously taking some heat from people who wasn't sure those were the best fit for her. She took a step back. Instead of pushing through, she took a step back. And as it seemed like her popularity was fading, she made the comeback of an era with her singles Diet Pepsi and Aquamarine. Her new aesthetics was unique to her. She seemed more authentic, and she just seemed to be enjoying life a lot more. And this authenticity allowed people who love this new pop star era of her to better connect with her, and we can all see from her comeback that having just a few people love you goes further than having more people like you. In life, sometimes quality matters more than quantity, and the relationships that we have with ourselves and with others is one of them. Addison Rae's comeback cannot illustrate this lesson more perfectly. Maybe the reason that you don't have what it is that you want is because the universe is preparing you for more. It's preparing you for something better. Just a month ago, when I was preparing for this new year and writing down my goals, one of them was to scale my career and grow my income. I remember writing down the goal in my journal, and I'm not kidding, the very next day, this channel was no longer monetized. Can you guys even imagine the shock that I had felt? When I wrote down about the life that I wanted to manifest and the partner that I wanted to be with, I started having so many issues with the relationship that I was in, and soon after it came to an end. Sometimes what may feel like a setback really is a blessing in disguise. Getting demonetized, it forced me to pivot and also start the second channel, It Girl Playbook, that I've always wanted to start, and it really helped me diversify my revenue streams. And honestly, I feel so much more established now that I get to do more and also earn more in multiple different ways. After the breakup, it forced me to take my rose tinted glasses off to see that if the relationship that I was in were to continue, I probably would have been further away from the relationship that I was trying to manifest. We just weren't compatible in areas that couldn't be compromised on. Setbacks are only the end if we allow it to be. You have the power to reframe them and allow them to set you up for that next big chapter in your life, the chapter where you make your biggest comeback. Your story isn't over yet. So remind yourself, when you feel like you've hit a rock bottom, congratulations. There's no other way than up now. Let this rock bottom become the solid foundation where you pick up the pieces, rebuild yourself into the highest version of yourself. I hope this episode encourages you to reflect, regroup, and rise stronger than ever before. If it feels like life is falling apart and the world is against you, know that you have at least one person cheering you on. I believe in you. You are stronger than you think you are, and you got this. Thank you for tuning into today's episode. I hope to see you in the next one. And in the meantime, as always, stay hot. Bye.